All right, now I probably will edit some, but we are recording. So, um, hello everybody, and welcome to WAEofFishing. My name is Warren, and this is a channel that I affectionately call a multi-species bass channel. If you are new here, welcome to our community. I say our community because I really feel like that's what I built here, as evident by having one of our subscribers sitting here on camera with me. Today's video is a little bit different. It's an idea I had one day driving home from work. And I thought, I get a lot of questions about what kind of kayak should I buy? What kind of life jacket? Hey, I fish this type of water. I'm not catching fish. What should I do? Da, 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 da. I get a lot of questions through Facebook, Instagram, in the comments of videos. So I thought, let me give you guys a forum so you can, one, be recognized for being part of the community, i.e. be on camera with me. And I'm proud of him. He's the first one to step up and do this. Two, to get your questions answered, and three, just to interact with me in an unscripted, dynamic manner. So I told him just fire off, I told him 10 questions, right? He probably, because of kind of the way he is, he probably wrote them down. They're probably on a piece of paper in front of him. But I don't know what they are, okay? He was like, you want me to send them ahead of time? No. So we're just gonna go through the questions. We're gonna answer them as honestly as possible. I'm gonna do minimal editing on this video. We've probably talked 10 minutes before this started. We've been in contact through Instagram DMs quite a bit lately. So if you are interested in being on this type of video, if you like this format of video, just let me know. Show some support in the comments. Share the videos out if you think they're cool, if you want to see them keep going. And if you want to be on one of these videos, email me, send me an Instagram message or a Facebook message. All of that contact information is down in the description, and let me know. I don't want to do that type of transaction in the comments. Let's keep the comments clean, but shoot me a message and we'll get you on one of the videos. So I'm planning to do these regularly. I hope they take off. I hope you guys like them. So without any more rambling from me, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So you've probably seen them in the comments, but let's see. Tell everybody who you are.
Hey, everybody. My name's Armando. Everybody calls me Mondo. First, appreciate you having me on. I enjoy the content you put out, and you're kind of semi-local to me, so I personally kind of feel like I can relate a lot more with you, and but I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, absolutely. So, when I threw this out, I told my wife, I said, you can't start off YouTube vlogging because nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares about your life and what you're doing with your day. But when I threw this out, and thank you to all of you guys. I just cracked 4,000 subscribers, so I appreciate all you guys. But when I threw this out, I said, man, let's see, maybe nobody wants to do it. You were the first, you were like third. The first two, one was Fishtails RVA. He's DQ'd because he's Fishtails. The second was, of course, Trolling on the RVA. He's DQ'd too. But you were the first actual subscriber who stepped up and said you were willing to do it. But there are already 10 people who've said they want to do it. I was amazed because I was really worried that I wasn't going to have anybody that wanted to do it.
Well,
I've got 10.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool because, I mean, I'm obviously a subscriber to a lot of different YouTube channels, and I don't recall ever seeing anything like this. So I thought this was something pretty cool and unique, and give somebody the opportunity to interact with one of their, just a regular person like me, nobody to interact with somebody that they admire and watch on YouTube, on a regular basis. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, man.
Thank you. So I'm eager. I want to see, what's the first question? What's the first one?
All right. So I hate to be kind of cliche, but here goes. All right. So just out of curiosity, what got you into fishing? Is it something that you did, growing up, or is it something that you got into? And then kind of a segue on that one is, what got you into kayak fishing?
So let's see. When I was young, so first of all, my backstory. This is a great forum to kind of put some of that out there because I never really do that on a video. I am the youngest child of 6, raised by a single mother.
Oh, wow.
So
big ups to your mom.
Yeah. My mom and dad, they actually separated when I was 3. I am the only boy. Growing up, there was
big ups to you.
There was my mom, there were 5 girls, and then came me.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother said, she said, babe, when you were born, if you weren't a boy, because this is back in the day, you didn't know. She said, if you weren't a boy, I was done. I was like, oh, of course. She's like, I was giving up. And lo and behold, here comes a boy. Now, growing up, my mom didn't know what to do with me. She always said, I had no idea what to do with a boy. And so every time one of my sisters had a girlfriend, take Warren with you. My sisters had a boyfriend. I mean, she was like, hey, we're going to so-and-so, take Warren with you. We're going to this, take Warren with you. She kicked me out the door with every boyfriend that came because my dad wasn't around. And she's like, I don't know what to do with him. But, fast forward a little bit, my mother was a school teacher. And we didn't grow up with a lot, even though my mother was very educated. She was like a Doogie Howser, if you're old enough to remember who Doogie Howser is.
Oh, yeah, man.
She was a school teacher for Richmond Public Schools. And she taught at my middle school. One of her co-workers, who I now call Dad, my kids call him Granddaddy H. We've gotten so close that, I'll call the house and he has 2 kids of his own. And I said, hey, Vonnie, where's Dad? And she said, hold on a minute. Dad Warren's on the phone. And that's how me and his actual kids interact. That's how close we are. And one day, we actually moved to South Richmond near him. And one day he just called my mom and said, send Warren over to the house. I came over to the house and he had this table laid out with crappie and bass and he was cleaning fish. And I was like, what is this? What are you doing? I've always been into science. And so I was just amazed that you got your own fish. Like, I grew up on concrete. A lot of people are surprised I grew up in downtown Richmond.
Oh, wow.
In like Chamberlain Avenue, right behind ECU, University of Richmond.
Heart of downtown Richmond.
Virginia Union. Yeah, that area right there, Chamberlain Avenue and all. And so then he, started taking me fishing. Of course, I was just all into bluegill and stuff. But once I went the first time, it was over. It was over. I fished everywhere, anywhere, all the time. I consumed everything. I read magazines, books, watched TV, Bill Dance Outdoors, the Bass Masters with Bob Cobb. I was on all of it. And it just went from there. And he'll tell you to this day, because I had a lot of friends who had a very difficult way growing up. They, made a lot of wrong decisions. And he'll tell you that fishing kept me straight. He said, because on Friday nights, even as a teenager, I was too worried to get up at 3 a.m. and go to Cahoon in Suffolk from Richmond to go out on Friday night and get in trouble. I was at home tying on baits because I have to get up at 3, be at Dad's house by 3:30. We're going to Suffolk, And so he said that kept me out of trouble because I was too focused. I remember when I turned 16, I wanted a boat, not a car. It just, and my oldest boy, who y'all see in the videos, he is just like that. He will fish till he blacks out. I have to literally drag him away from the water sometimes. He has a creek bag. And we're like, hey, we're going bike riding. He'll grab a book bag. What are you doing? We might drive across a creek. It's got containers and nets and all kinds of stuff in it. So that's kind of my story of how I got to fishing. And then once I was hooked into fishing, then came all the tournament fishing and everything else that came along with it. Kayak fishing. How did I get into kayak fishing? Actually, I got into kayak fishing saltwater. A buddy of mine who used to tournament fish, real good friend of mine, Kenny Brooks, who will probably watch this video, he started telling me about these places you could go with the John boat and fish for speckled trout where no one else could get to with the boat because it was too shallow and grass. And I didn't know anything about saltwater. And he then got a kayak and he was going kayaking and stuff. And I just said, I'm going to try it out. And I bought that. If you go back to my videos, I bought a little POS green sit-in kayak from Dick's for $300. Because in my mind, I'm going to fish little creeks and stuff. That's why people ask me how I'm going to be fishing a pond. My next question is, you're never going to go anywhere bigger? You're never going to, and they're like, no. I'm like, you sure? Because you're going to go out and buy a little 10-foot sun dolphin, and then the next thing you're going to do is call me and say, I flipped it in Lake Anna. I'm like, you shouldn't have been out there in Lake Anna. But I remember I bought a 10-foot kayak, stuck it in the back of a lowrider. I've got a lowrider, like a hot rod in the garage. I stuck it in the bed of the truck, strapped it down with an elastic bungee because the boat weighed like 40 pounds. And I came home and I tried to beat my wife home. And I was in the driveway. And as soon as I put the car in park, she pulls in the driveway and she drives super slow by me and just stares at me like, what did you do? And I fished out of that little sit-in kayak for years until I was decided I'm gonna go start chasing redfish in the bay, and I got caught in that storm, and it was almost a wrap for your boy. Um, and I came home that day. I remember that's the closest, and I've been in a lot of places this bad. I've had full-blown hypothermia, like full-blown, probably should have been like evac. I've had almost had a heat stroke once. I've had heat exhaustion 4 times. I've been turned around in the woods in the dark at night with something following me. Like I've been in some hairy situations.
Man.
But that day on the bay in that little bitty boat, man, I thought it was it. I thought that was it. I was like, okay, because immediately you kind of go through, all right, emergency situation. What do I have? What can I do? Boom, boom. And you go through these, and I remember instantly getting to a point where my mind just like, you're going in the water. Like I ran through everything. My only option was going in the water. When I made it back to land, man, if you go back and watch the video, you see my clothes, you can hear my clothes snapping in the wind. It was so hard. I had a storm chaser look at that video because at the time it wasn't on YouTube. I just said, brought the camera to work, and I said, hey, David, he storm chases in Central Virginia, chases tornadoes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I said, look at this video. And he looked at it for a couple hours and came back to me, and he kind of pointed out some things. He said, by my estimation, you had straight line sustained winds of 60 miles an hour.
Woo.
And I was in a kayak on the Chesapeake in Mob Jack Bay. And I'm like, well, he said, you hear that ticking? He said, you can hear the audio of the grain hitting the body of the camera. He said, and see how your clothes are moving, and they're making a snapshot. He broke down everything, and he was like, yeah, your wind speed was plus or minus 60.
Wow.
Dude, I thought I was done.
Man.
When I came home that day, wife said, how was your day? I said, I need a bigger boat, and I kept walking.
Yeah,
and that's when I bought my Moken.
That sit-in, if I was in it, it'd have been full of something. It would have been water. I'd have been pooping, my man.
I was scared, man, and at the time, I really wasn't doing what I should have been doing. Now I will tell you, because it's a great moment to say this: always wear your life jacket.
Oh, absolutely.
It's real easy to get into this sport and think, you got to think when you go in the water in a kayak, you could get tangled up in fish line. You can get fishing hooks around your legs. You got coolers and all kinds of things. Your pliers could get hung on the kayak and pin you, or something. You don't never know.
Yeah, you can get hit. You can get hit in the head with a 3-ounce weight and get knocked out, and knock yourself unconscious and fall over.
Good. This is really sad to hear. There's a kayaker actually recently died near us in the Rappahannock. Yeah, they found the boat floating and they went looking for him. But I was really sorry to hear. So my thoughts go out to his family. But wear your life jacket. At this time, when that storm came, I actually didn't have it. It was strapped to under the bungees in front of me.
Yeah, I even take it a step further, like especially when I'm saltwater fishing. I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm freshwater fishing or saltwater fishing. I'm going to have a life jacket on regardless. I mean, that's just me. But when I'm saltwater fishing, if I'm fishing the Bay Bridge Tunnel or whatever, I always also have a handheld radio on me. So
I need to get
a marine radio. Yeah, handheld marine radio on me. I have a friend of mine that he's retired Coast Guard, and he still keeps in touch with some of his Coast Guard buddies, and they in the summertime, I never knew it was this bad. He says, like, it's almost every day they're rescuing like 5 to 6 kayakers that are going out to the bay wanting to and get washed out. The current takes them out, and they just can't fight the current. They get too tired of paddling, and they just can't keep up, so they get worn out. Some of them stay on the kayak, some of them get flipped over and have to be in. But I never realized it was that many. So definitely be careful. Yeah, definitely be careful when you're out there. I mean, it's not Mother Nature's not something to play with.
Wow.
And if you don't know what you're doing, don't go out there unless you're with somebody that's kind of more seasoned, that can show you a few things, because there's a lot of things you need to look out for. You need to make sure you're checking weather, you're checking winds, you're checking currents, work the tide right. You know what I mean? Because it can get hairy quick.
Yeah. Okay. That was a long-winded answer, but we're working through this.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Was that one question or two?
That was one.
Okay.
All right.
1A and 1B.
All right. Yeah, 1A and 1B. All right. So finesse or power fishing?
Finesse.
I knew that answer. I don't think everybody else did. So,
But you know what? I haven't been doing it that much recently. I've really been going like that punch fish I caught in the grass throwing that punch, like that was yeah, that was visceral. That was
mm,
yeah. But I love my finesse.
yeah.
Even saltwater. Like I was catching puppy drum the other day. I had a 12-pound leader.
Oh wow.
I'm comfortable with 12-pound tests.
Mm-hmm.
Now snook, I had 25 on with that snook, and I was scared to death he was gonna break my line.
Woo.
But yeah.
All right. If you had to pick one, and you only could pick one, saltwater fishing or freshwater?
Freshwater.
Freshwater.
Yeah,
Why?
saltwater has you can catch so much in saltwater.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You could catch, there's like 8 predators you could chase.
Yeah.
Then there's a bunch of food fish, but they migrate and they're seasonal. So if you get up and say, I want to go catch redfish, well, they're not here right now. So for that reason, saltwater kind of drives me nuts.
Right. I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely would say freshwater as well. What are your top 3 bucket list fish that you have not yet caught or targeted?
I want to catch a Jack Crevalle. I want to catch a sheep's head, and I want to catch. I know people like sheep's head. Yeah, I have never caught one. And I want to catch a snakehead. I've gone chasing snakeheads once, didn't catch any. Actually, I caught bass, and all the local guys were like, "You caught bass? We never catch a bass in here. I've never caught a bass in here." I was like, "I caught 5 of them," and they're like, "I've never caught one. All I catch is snakeheads." I did it. But a good friend of mine, we've been trying to hook up Apex Predators out of Northern Virginia, runs a guide service. A guy named Chris Evans, no relation. We've been trying to link up to shoot a video there, catching absolute monsters up there. So I've been trying to get up there with them to get me my snakehead. So
nice. Yeah, that's one of the fish I definitely want to target too. You got the kind of like same luck I got. You know, if I go out, if my brother and I go out to target cobia, we catch all the shark we could ever want. If we ever went out, if we ever wanted to go shark fishing, we'd probably catch all the cobia we ever wanted. But no, it's the same thing with me. But all right, so next one. Let's see. What is your go-to confidence bait?
am I fishing fresh or salt?
Fresh or any one. Which one's your saltwater and which one's your freshwater?
Go-to confidence bait, freshwater, hands down. Charlie Brewer slider worm, hands down, every situation.
Okay.
Saltwater would be a 1/8 ounce chartreuse jig head with a chicken on a chain.
Nice. Okay.
Paddle tail.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Those are definitely good ones. Do you who is your favorite professional bass angler?
Mike Iaconelli.
Okay. Why?
No hesitation. I'll be very honest. When Mike came out, there was literally nobody in the sport who represented me. There was nobody who was from the concrete, who was urban, who lived in the city. It was a genre full of country music and lifted trucks and heartland values. And I just couldn't relate to any of it. Not that any of it's bad. It just wasn't me.
Right.
And I remember when Ike came out, he just ticked everybody off because here's this dude from Jersey coming in the stadium, blasting Run DMC, windmilling on the front deck of his boat and breakdancing, and a hat, got on a wide brim hat, and he doesn't look like any of them. And I was like, that's my guy. And then as I got to learn how Ike was, a lot of like the anger management issues. I have anger issues. I'm good now. When I was young, I was bad.
Oh, I'm Latino, so I can relate.
And I remember, like, he used to say, like, this is a true story. He'd always say, never give up, never give up. Right?
Oh yeah.
Something would happen, and Ike would just get up, grab the rod, and say, never give up. And I was on the Chickahominy fishing a tournament. I didn't win this tournament, but I did get big fish. And this is exactly how it happened. I pulled up to a boat dock at the mouth of Dyson Creek. I threw a spinnerbait through the boat dock and was winding it back. Boom, hook up with what had to have been 3.5, 4 pounds. Get it to the boat, right? Fish comes off. And like I immediately welled up like, oh my God. And I stopped and I said, just keep casting. The very next cast I threw in there, stuck another fish. It was 5 3/4.
Nice.
I ended up winning big fish for the tournament. But it was in
Nice.
that exact moment, I just never give up. Do not sit here and lose it and sulk. Just keep casting. And I threw that next cast and got big fish.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know too. Mike Iaconelli used to be a DJ.
Yep. He
Yeah,
used to be in
so
a dance crew and do dance battles. Like, look, can you see it back here? Where is it? That's Ike's book right here.
Meat Eater? No. Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've
That's
never read it.
This is how big of a Mike Iaconelli fan I have. I
Oh,
bought this
awesome.
book when it dropped, and
Awesome.
the hat that is sitting on it is actually signed. This is my old Bass Club, Tri-City
Uh-huh.
Bass Masters.
Uh-huh.
The hat is signed by Mike Iaconelli,
Oh, that's cool,
and
man.
it
That's
says
too
"Never
cool.
give up."
I'm
Yeah,
jealous. I'm jealous.
yeah.
I'm a huge Mark Daniels Jr. fan, and
Okay.
Brian Latimer too. I think they have humble beginnings, and
Yeah,
kind
I remember I reached out to B-Lat the instant his YouTube channel hit it, and I saw it. I was like, "Yo!" And I emailed him right away.
yeah,
Like, I followed his wife's social page, and
mhm,
they're great people.
they
He
are.
didn't he didn't reply, but yeah.
It's all right, man. You're getting there. Pretty soon he'll be emailing you, asking you questions.
I hope so. I hope so.
What? Okay, so you want to go next question? What is your goal for 2021?
Mm. Uh, as far as fishing or the YouTube channel or just
All of it, all of it.
so I've had a lot of goals as I got on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't always hit the mark. I hit the mark for like the first 2 years, but like being at 4,000 now, I thought I would have been there sooner.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems with YouTube is it's very hard to not look at your content and compare it to someone else's content
Right.
because you're always trying to figure out what could I do that's gonna get me there, get me, and you look and you're like, man, my content, I'm doing very similar stuff, almost like the same stuff. I dropped the same video and I got 600 views and this person got 5,000 views. And it's hard not to say, well, and compare yourself. Um, but I would really like to continue to grow the channel. I would like it to grow faster. I'd like to find that one thing that's going to make me stand out, because I do really feel like I have some unique content. And once it gets noticed more, but I want to find that one thing that's going to get me to stand out so that the business of my YouTube channel will continue to grow. One of the reason that I got on the channel in the first place is because I quit tournament bass fishing. Once you two kids and like you have to carry boat insurance, you're towing a bass boat all around the state of Virginia. You got tournament entry fees, club membership fees, boat insurance, liability insurance, vehicle. I couldn't do it. I was like, it just doesn't make sense. I've got two kids. I got a house. I got to let it go. But it left a void, where I didn't feel included in the community, in the culture. And so I decided I'll try YouTube. I know quite a bit. I think I've taught a lot of people to fish. Maybe I have something to offer. And I really love YouTube. It's really filled that void. And then I've met some really cool people. Like recently, y'all heard me talk, like just Cody over at Discount Tackle, telling you he's exactly like everybody that follows the channel. Him and I have almost the same backstory as kids, which is freaky. Big Coffee's Outdoor Magazine, Gone Fishing 804, trolling and RVA, all the guys like in Richmond Fishtails that I've met through YouTube. It's really been awesome to build those relationships with people, and then also to be able to help them. One of the things that's really fulfilling, which I hope to grow more in 2021, is my coaching business. So like I posted a video the other day where I took somebody out and taught them how to paddle a kayak and all that, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. That was really
I
cool.
actually, like, that's the first time I recorded somebody, but like I do that.
There was called me ignorant. I've been kayak fishing for I don't know 6 years now, and there were some things on there where I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I never knew that.
See, you
That's
gotta
why
stay
I do
humble.
that. That's why I do that.
You gotta stay humble because even like with me, I have literally, like, y'all, Bass Lover, right? Bass Lover at one point, he talks a lot of trash that he can outfish me, but it literally, we went to high school together.
Mhm.
But we were at work. We worked at the same job. And he literally walked up to me and said, "Will you teach me how to fish?" Like, this is a push button. Okay, how does it work? That's where I started with Bass Lover.
Mhm.
He now fishes. He's got a 21-foot Stratus, and he fishes tournaments.
Oh, nice.
So, like, I've taught so many people how to fish, teaching my kids, teaching other people to take their kids out, and that is really fulfilling. So I would have to say I hope to grow that more, because being able to take a single parent and give them something like this that they can do with their kid, is like leaving my mark on the world, kind of sort of thing. So
Yeah, I know exactly the feeling you're talking about, because I know, like, if I'm taking one of my buddies out and we're going fishing and they're not really seasoned, or even my buddy, like I have one of my really, really good friends, Derek, Derek Hood, that I've known since middle school down in North Carolina, growing up in Carolina as a kid. Um, and, he and I reunited on Facebook and found out he was kayak fishing too. And we just, man, after all these years, we caught back up. He's come up here to fish tournaments. I've gone down there to fish tournaments with him. But, seeing him catch a fish, I can skunk. We could fish a tournament and I can skunk, and I wouldn't care, because if he caught a 6-pounder, I get just as jacked up, or, I'm just like, I'm just as jacked like as if I caught it. And, seeing somebody else that I hasn't, might not be seasoned at fishing, and, teaching them a couple things and seeing them catch fish, man, it's almost better than me catching it, like the feeling you get. So I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And my son too. My son is ate up with fishing just like yours, and I love seeing him catch fish. The look on his face, and he just lights up, and
Hmm.
it's unreal. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's rough when a kid doesn't catch fish though. That gets
Yeah,
rough.
he takes it pretty good though. He
My
knows.
my
He knows.
5-year-old does not take it well. Caleb can fight through. He knows I'm gonna keep casting. I'll get one. But 5-year-old is like, "Can I watch your phone? Can we go home?" So,
Yeah. All right. So next question. Besides fishing, like, what other hobbies do you have?
oh my gosh.
I feel like that was a loaded question,
Oh, you
because I think
ready?
they're going to be very similar to mine. But go ahead.
Okay. I used to be very big into Call of Duty. I have
Okay.
kind of let that slide now, let that go.
Yep.
I build PCs. I built the PC I edit on.
Hmm.
I like working on cars and trucks. I have a low rider, so anything I can do to the car or truck, I do. If I have to pay somebody, I really go through the whole process and making sure I don't have a buddy who can help me or something before I pay somebody to do it. I used to perform stand-up poetry. I used to garden, basic beginner carpentry type stuff. I actually used to do custom car stereo installations as a teenager, and we would go to base-offs to compete and all that sort of stuff. I dabble in computer networking just to try to see if I can make my router outperform the crap that Verizon and Comcast give you, and all that sort of stuff. So,
Yep. I knew all those answers. The only thing I haven't done is the poetry and the gardening. Everything else, I'm right there with you. Pretty scary. Um,
oh, I also I forgot this. I'm a cyclist. I haven't ridden in a few years, but I used to be real big into mountain biking and road biking. So I actually did the whole cap to cap to Williamsburg thing on a bike.
oh, nice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Let's see here. Do you plan on doing any tournaments this year?
I've been thinking about it. So Brian from the Basscast, he and I work together with podcasting and trying to grow those businesses. He has some tournaments. I think this is the last one coming up. I really didn't do it because of COVID, and I didn't, how things were going to work. But I was considering doing that one. Big Coffee, Outdoor Magazine, BCom Pro Staff has a tournament he's doing, and apparently I've got a lot of fans in North Carolina. And Coffee gets a lot of people asking, "Is he gonna come down here? You need to get him to come down here." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool. Maybe I'll come down to Carolina, down around the Raleigh area." So shout out to any of you watching this down around that area. Uh, but I was thinking about it. I actually, and when I put this out there, I know everybody's going to comment and tell me I should do it. But I was talking to someone else who's a subscriber, but who lives in Richmond and produces quite a bit of content themselves about putting on a tournament myself. I signed up for Attorney X. admin account and everything. So I might do it. I don't know. Side note, Game and Fish has an open comment period right now where they're looking to change some rules. And so they always open it up to comments from the public before they make the final decision. And one of the items on the table, which I feel will probably go through, is they're going to allow kayak non-motorized tournaments on Department of Game controlled lakes.
Oh, nice.
So right now you can't do a tournament on a lake controlled by Department of Wildlife Resources. But now they're going to allow you to do it.
Oh,
So that would open up Briary Creek and all those places to tournament fishing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you have to, next time I go down to Carolina, man, I might have to drag you down with me. Because I fished Sharon Harris twice down there in tournament, 2 separate CKA Carolina Kayak Anglers. They always, I fished a few of their tournaments with my buddy Derek and my buddy Hambone Fishing and a few of the other guys I know down there. Really cool, good people, man, really good people. And last year, God, I forget the name of the lake we fished last year. But yeah, there's been at least 3 or 4 tournaments I've fished down there with those guys, and it's always a good time. I never win, but for me, it's the camaraderie and just being with people and just talking. I could talk fishing all day long.
My wife said, "Is there a fisherman in the building? I will find them." And she's like, "Oh God, a fisherman!" And I start talking, and she walks away.
I just started looking for apparel first. Hey, I see you.
There's a video on my channel when I fished the Tidewater Kayak Anglers kayak tournament on Beaver Dam Creek.
Yeah, I fished that one. You were probably there at the same time. I think I finished like 8th or 7th on that one.
So the one I fished, I actually won it. And that was like the first year of my channel. So that video's on the channel. It's my favorite video on the channel, period. But I think that's what scared me, is because the first one I ever entered, I took first place. And I was like, because then afterward, I started getting emails and messages from people, "Hey, are you going to fish again? Are you going to fish again?" I'm like, I started to feel like people were cutting for me. So maybe I won't do it. Yeah. So I didn't do it.
So just because I remember I fished that tournament too. Well, it might have been. Was it raining that day in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I did fish. That was the same tournament I fished. Yeah, I did pretty good. Actually, that's to this day, that's the best finish I've had in a tournament. But yeah, I was there that day.
Yeah. First and second place, he was fishing in the same arm of the lake as me. And I would catch something and he'd come around the corner. "I heard you hooping and hollering." And he had big fish and I had first place. And we were fishing within yelling distance of each other all day.
Was he the guy? He had a little green sit-in kayak.
I don't think he had a sit-in.
Because I remember
he's from Matthews.
It might have been. I don't remember. There was a guy. I remember there was a guy. He had a little small green kayak.
I'll link because I think he's in the end of my video when we're standing up there and I was getting a check. So I'll link that video in this comments.
Okay.
Since we're talking about it, and y'all can go back and look at it. But dude, because you can only do 2 fish. And like I was trying to call 19-inch fish. So I was getting fish, but I'm like, I need an 8-pounder. I need a 21-inch fish to call. And other people said, "Man, I got 1 fish all day." And I was like, "There's no way." I was culling all day. And people like, "I didn't get a bite. I didn't get a bite."
Oh no, I wore him out that day, man.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who didn't even come to weigh in because they didn't have a single fish on the board.
Oh no, I wore him out that. I remember the topwater bite in the morning was just lit, man. I
got nothing on top.
Man, I threw on a whopper plopper and I was just lighting them up, but I couldn't. They were all small, and I think one was like my biggest fish that day was like just over 17 inches, and then the topwater bite once it died off. I was working a creature bait, and then I just tied on a wacky rig, and I went to work, and man, I caught a few pickerel, but man, I know I caught at least a good, I don't know, 16, 17 fish that day.
Yeah, I couldn't get a topwater bite, then I couldn't get them on finesse, then I ended up hooking a pike on finesse, and then the way my mind works, if you watch my videos, it's like I follow. So there's like this flow chart. So I'm like, okay, and when I get to the lake, I'm gonna throw top water. I come to the lake with 2-3 finesse rods, a spinnerbait, a crankbait, a top water, a jig rod. And then as I'm throwing, I pare that down and kind of, okay, I got a bite on this. What color was it? How was I fishing it? What was that probably imitating? It was probably imitating something swimming. Let me try this crankbait. We get a crankbait similar color. And so I like piecemeal and run through it. And I dialed into a brim pattern. And it was swim jigs and chatterbaits in brim color. And I remember the first big one I caught on a swim jig, I felt like the bait was swimming, and then all of a sudden the bait felt like it went weightless and came back. And what I think happened was a bass tried to suck it in, but he didn't get it. And then I felt it load up again. And when I stuck it, it was a nice old 3-4 pounder. If you look at the video, I look back at the camera and I just start screaming and throwing my fist up. I'm like, I watched the video. I was like, I love this video.
That was a good day of fishing for me. I remember that day. I had
I
a
have
good
not
day.
been back to that lake since then.
Me neither. That's the funny part. And I keep telling myself I did so good. I was like, man, I got to go back to Beaver Dam.
Somebody caught a 15 pounder in a tournament there one day.
Man,
that same year we fished it was a 15.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but one of the guys that was running the tournament before they even started, before we even got on the kayaks and you know, they told everybody to go, he was fishing off the bank, had a little ribbon tail worm. I don't remember what color it was. Stuck a 6-pounder right there off the bank
Oh
that
my
morning.
gosh.
Like,
No, I didn't know
and it
about
was
that.
just a couple casts in. And, you know, after hindsight 50-50, they had a John boat tournament like the day before.
And the fish hadn't moved out yet.
Yeah. I was like,
And
why did
they
I?
didn't make, and they did
Yeah.
not make that an off limits area either.
Yeah. I was like, why didn't I freaking do, man, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
You
Virginia Bass, if it's a 2-day event,
know?
the second day, the launch area is off limits.
Oh, wow.
You can't fish around the launch. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they didn't that day. And I mean, he stuck that 6-pounder and I just thought, oh, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But,
crazy.
yeah. So.
We almost met years ago.
Yeah, I know, right? But I know I remember that day vividly. It was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
It rained a little bit and it kind of sucked, but I think it turned them on, man. I don't know what it was because it wasn't raining real hard. It was just like a drizzle all day.
It was cold
Most
and
of the
annoying.
morning. Yeah. So let me see. What other questions did I have? There was one more. So what do you do to support your fishing habit? What is it besides YouTube? I know you said, I know you made a video recently, and I thought, by the way, kudos to you, man. We get caught up in what we do every day and our wives letting us do what we do and not complaining, you know, supporting us. And I thought it was cool that you gave your wife your biggest check like that. I thought that was really cool, man. That
Thank
was
you.
really
Yeah,
cool.
as soon as I saw it was coming, I messaged my brother. I said, I think this is wrong. He said, well, I was like, well, I've never gotten a YouTube check in back-to-back months. Usually it takes about 3 months because you have a minimum payout of $100. And usually it takes about 2.5 months, 3 months for me to hit that $100. I was like, and I've never seen that amount before. And I said, well, we'll see if it gets deposited. And when it hit my account, I was like, wow, I'm giving it to Kimberly. And I just knew immediately. I said, I'm going to give this to her.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, what do I do? I really don't do anything. It's actually been really hard the last couple of years because y'all know, if y'all remember, I lit a fire and burned a bunch of shirts and stuff from my old job when we severed ties. I opted to go for a better life instead of a bigger paycheck.
Yep.
So my fishing before the kids and all, like some of my rods that I fish with, they're $350 rods with $200 reels on them. But of course, now with the 2 kids and everything, I'm typically night, buddy. Speaking of, I'm typically more in like hoping I can get into the $99 rod range. I was really fearful all of last season that I would break a rod because I knew that if I broke a rod, there wouldn't be any replacement right now. So my YouTube and then my regular job is pretty much, and then the coaching that I do outside of it, that's pretty much it. So being that my YouTube is actually a business, so like you have Way of Fishing, but then outside of Way of Fishing, I actually have the Way Outdoors LLC, which kind of encompasses everything. So fishing is actually, you know, the business is what I do for the business. So it does make it a business expense, but I still do have to come up with the money to do it. But if I had it, There's another kayak that I want. Like I seriously want a 10-foot, little light 10-foot that I can throw over guardrails and just do like combat fishing. So as soon as I get the money, I'm gonna get that. But right now, I think I'm pretty much just like everybody else watching this. Pay bills, go through everything, check with the wife. Hey, is there any money? I'd like to buy this rod. No, not right now. Okay, well, it costs about this much. So let me know, if we get to a point where I can get that, um, but really, all of my YouTube checks up to this point kind of went back into the channel, whether it's to like buy a GoPro battery, buy a new battery pack, a memory card, um, that sort of thing. Like right now, because I'm proud of myself because my edits are getting better.
Oh
Like when I
yeah.
first started, I was using freeware and I
Hmm.
was capped at 720. And then a couple people would say, "Hey, where's the HD version?" And I'm like, "Man, because Adobe's $20 a month."
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, "Man,
man.
that's $240 a year. I can't do that right now," because I was really covering the expense of the channel out of pocket. Um, so when I do get a YouTube check, I try to put it back into this. But
So, well, that's all my questions. So,
cool.
um,
This went a lot longer than I thought, but this was the guinea pig, right? We didn't know what we were gonna get into. You're my first person,
yeah.
so we're gonna let it be what it is. Genuine interaction. It wasn't scripted. I didn't cut you off. You didn't cut me off, and it is what it is.
Nope.
So, hope everybody likes the video. I hope you guys like this video. I want to do more of these. This was really fun.
I,
Um,
I enjoyed it. It was
yeah,
cool.
this was
We should
crazy
do it.
fun
We should
right
do
here.
it again. Once you get other people on, you want to do it
Yeah,
again? Let me know.
yeah. So we'll recycle, but yeah, we gotta let some other people jump in. I actually have quite a few people lined up who want to do it. So
Awesome, man.
yeah, I'm so touched because I told my wife, I said, I didn't think anybody was gonna want to do it. So yeah,
You'd be surprised, man. Worst,
yeah,
you'd be surprised.
yeah. So we'll see. We're gonna end the video. We'll stop recording. If you would like to get on the video with me, and basically show your face to the rest of the community and ask me 10 questions, please reach out to me and let me know. I really enjoy doing this with Armando, and I hope that we get to do this more with a lot of other people. So cool. This worked out really good. Great.
Hey,
Thanks for
man.
being a guinea pig, man.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I feel honored and privileged.
You're the first. You're the first. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching Way of Fishing. Remember to get out there and fish your way. And I hope to see you on this video soon.